She said, "We should both see other people for a while." I said, "Fair enough." The next evening, her cousin invited me to a game night and sat a little too close. My ex sent me a paragraph after paragraph of, "We need to talk right now." Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. For years. That's not a test run. That's not just seeing what happens. For years is planning a future time. For years is remember that time we should start saving for time. We had just signed a 12-month lease on a new, 2-bedroom apartment. I say we, but I'm an architect, so I'm the one who makes the architect money. I was the one who qualified for it on my own. I paid the security deposit, and I paid the first month's rent and the movers. Lena, my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, was in charge of vibes. That was her actual job, by the way. Social media marketing. Her life was about aesthetics, brand synergy, and whatever was trending 5 minutes ago. My life is about blueprints, load-bearing walls, and understanding that if you don't build a solid foundation, the whole thing comes crashing down. For the last 6 months, she'd been distant, moody. I attributed it to the stress of the move, or her job, or that new friend from her spin class who seemed to take up a lot of her text messages. I was the loyal, stable, boring but dependable boyfriend. I was the one working overtime to pay for the new furniture. I was the one who cooked. Just 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to go to Vegas with my college buddies. A trip we'd been planning for a year. The night before my flight, Lena had a full-on, tears-on-the-floor meltdown. She had a really bad feeling about the trip. She was feeling vulnerable in the new apartment and just needed me that weekend. She said, "If you loved me, you wouldn't go." So I canceled. I ate the cost of the flight. I stayed home. Saturday morning, she got a brunch invite from her friends. She looked at me, still in my pajamas, and said, "You don't mind, do you? It's just a few hours." She was gone for 8. I should have seen it then, I know. But you don't see the cracks in the foundation when you're busy trying to hold up the roof. So, this Tuesday, I was walking on air. I'd just wrapped a massive project at work, a design I'd been bleeding for. My boss had pulled me aside and told me a promotion was imminent. I was going home a hero. I felt on top of the world. I even stopped and got her favorite Thai food, the expensive place that always gets the pad CEW just right. I walked into our brand new apartment, the one I was paying for, and the air in the room was wrong. It was cold. Lena was on the couch, but she wasn't in sweats. She wasn't watching trashy TV. She was dressed. A new black dress I'd never seen. Heels. Full makeup. Her phone was in her hand, face down on the cushion, but it lit up with a preview of a new message. She didn't look up when I came in. "Hey," I said, trying to keep the good energy. "Project is finally done. Got us some of that Thai food you love." She finally looked up. Her expression was bored, like I was a waiter who had interrupted her. "Mark, we need to talk." My stomach didn't just drop. It evaporated. The bag of food suddenly felt like it weighed 100 pounds. I set it on the kitchen counter. "Okay," I said slowly. "What's up?" She stood up, and I realized this was a performance. She'd rehearsed this. I feel so stifled. There it is. The #1, all-time classic. This, she gestured around the beautiful apartment I'd secured for us. It's all just so final. I'm 27. I haven't lived. I haven't. I don't even know who I am anymore. I just feel like I'm Mark's girlfriend and not Lena. I tried to be the good guy, the architect, the problem solver. What? Lena, that's not true. I've always supported your job, your friends. No, you don't get it, she snapped, cutting me off. It's not about you, it's about me. I need space. I need novelty. I need to be the main character in my own life for a while. And then, the killer. The line she'd clearly practiced in the mirror, the one that let her be the cool, modern girl while gutting me. "I think we should both see other people for a while," she said, with a little, patronizing head tilt. "Just a break. To, make sure this is really what we want." I'm an architect. I see a flawed design. I see a compromised foundation. And I know, with absolute certainty, when a structure is a tear down. This was the moment. The movies tell you to fight, to beg, to yell. Is there someone else? You're supposed to cry, to make grand promises, to list all the sacrifices you've made. But I just looked at her. Really looked at her. The new dress. The perfect makeup. The phone that had just buzzed. She wasn't sad. She was relieved. She was excited. This wasn't a conversation, it was a press release. She wasn't breaking up. She was clearing her schedule. The silence stretched. She started to look impatient, tapping her foot in her new heels. This wasn't going to script. I was supposed to be a wreck. Well, she said, her voice sharp. Aren't you going to say anything? I took a breath. I looked at the Thai food getting cold on the counter. Then I looked back at her, and I gave her a single, short, final nod. Fair enough. Her perfectly made-up face just broke. The smugness, the confidence, it all just shattered. This was not the script. Wait, what? Fair enough. That's all. After 4 years. You said you want to see other people. I said, my voice completely flat. That's a breakup, Lena. So, fair enough. You're free to do what you want. I turned and walked toward my bedroom. I'm going to pack a bag. That's when the panic turned to rage. Her rage. A break, Mark, she shrieked, following me. I said a break. Like a few weeks. You're just going to give up? For years, and you just give up? You're the one who just gave up with a pre-written speech, I said, turning back to her. You're wearing a new dress and heels, Lena. You're not sad about this. You're excited. I'm not going to sit in this apartment and wait while you find yourself with some other guy. That's not a break. That's a backup plan. And I'm not it. She crossed her arms, and the smug mask clicked back into place. Fine, she said, her voice dripping with venom. Be dramatic. I guess you won't be coming to game night at Sarah's tomorrow, then. I was going to invite you, but now. That's just awkward. She was, in one sentence, telling me she had already planned my exile. She expected it to make me fold. You're right, I said. That would be awkward. I went into the bedroom. I didn't grab the TV or the good towels. Just clothes. Toothbrush. Laptop. She was standing in the living room, fuming, when I walked out. I walked to the front door, put my hand on the knob, and paused. I'll coordinate with you to get the rest of my stuff, I said, not looking back. I'll be off the lease by the 1st. Goodbye, Lena. I walked out. As I was standing at the elevator, waiting for the down button to light up, I heard our apartment door click open and close again, very quickly. She was leaving, too. She hadn't even waited for my car to be out of the parking garage. I ended up at my buddy Dave's place. He's also an architect, and he took one look at my duffel bag, handed me a beer, and said, her loss. Couch is yours. For the next 24 hours, I didn't feel. I functioned. I was an architect whose project had been suddenly canceled due to a fatal flaw in the client's integrity. I didn't grieve the project. I just started the paperwork. I sat on Dave's couch with my laptop, and I deconstructed the life I'd been building. I logged into the utility portals, submitting change of responsibility forms, putting everything in her name. I canceled the high-speed internet. I changed my passwords. Each click was a small, satisfying snip. I was methodically disassembling the bridge, bolt by bolt. Then, around 5 p.m. on Wednesday, my phone buzzed. I figured it was Lena, finally realizing the internet was down. It wasn't. It was an unknown number. Text. Hey Mark, it's Sarah, Lena's cousin. I heard what she did. She's AF asterisk king idiot. I stared at that. She's AF asterisk king idiot. It was the most honest thing anyone had said to me in months. Text. But listen, game night is still on, and I'm making my famous 7-layer dip. You should come. 7 p.m. Don't let her win by moping. I thought, why not? It was a small, quiet act of defiance against the expectation that I should be home, heartbroken, while she paraded her new life. I texted her back. Me? See you at 7. I'll bring beer. I walked up to Sarah's apartment building. I was nervous, but I was also calm. The door opened. It was Sarah. She gave me a quick, no-nonsense hug. She was in jeans and a university sweatshirt. Glad you made it, she said. I stepped inside. The apartment was full of familiar faces from our friend group, and not one of them was Lena. As if reading my mind, Sarah leaned in and said, she's not here. She texted me she was finding herself tonight, which I guess means at that new cocktail bar downtown with that guy from her gym. And just like that, the anxiety was gone. It was easy. It was fun. We weren't Mark Sanlena's friends. We were just friends. We ate 7-layer dip. We played code names. I realized I hadn't felt this light in months. Later in the night, We all crowded onto the couch to play one of those trivia games on the TV. Sarah and I were on the same team, both disgustingly competitive. No, no, wait. Sarah yelled, laughing. It's not Andrew Jackson, you idiot. It's… She leaned in close, right next to my ear, to whisper the answer. Her shoulder was pressed against mine. She smelled like wine and vanilla. It's John Quincy Adams, she whispered, her voice buzzing with competitive energy. That's what I was going to say. I whispered back, laughing. Right at that moment, our teammate Chloe, who documents everything, held up her phone. Team champions, she yelled, and snapped a picture. Chloe, as she always does, immediately posted it to her Instagram story. In the photo, Sarah and I were side by side, laughing, heads tilted toward each other, looking utterly comfortable. I didn't think anything of it. I was just having a good time. I said my goodbyes, gave Sarah another quick, thanks for this hug, and left. I pulled up to a red light, and my phone, silent in the cup holder, began to vibrate. And vibrate. And vibrate. And vibrate. It was a rapid-fire, psychotic string of notifications. The screen lit up with a preview of the lock screen. It was Lena, and she was not okay. Lena, what the F***CK is this? Lena, a screenshot of Chloe's Instagram story. The picture of me and Sarah. Circled. In angry red. Lena, we need to talk right now. I read them, and I started to laugh. The hypocrisy was so pure, so uncut, it was almost beautiful. She was allowed to find herself with some guy at her gym, but I was pathetic and gross for eating 7-layer dip with her cousin. I had been released, and she had just confirmed that she'd never intended to let me go. I was the safety net, and she had just looked down to see it was gone. I didn't reply. I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb and drove the rest of the way to Dave's. The next 48 hours were a masterclass in her manipulative playbook. Day 2, the love bomb. The rage had failed, so this sad girl tactic came out. Lena, Mark, please. I'm so confused. This isn't you. I know you're just hurt and lashing out. I miss you. My nights are so empty without you. I ignored it. Day 3, the flying monkeys. I got a text from Lena's mom. Lena's mom. Mark, Lena is very upset. This break was a mistake. She knows that. Please be the bigger man and call her. Don't throw 4 years away over a silly fight. I blocked her mom's number. Day 4, the true colors. All tactics failed. All that was left was the raw, angry, cornered animal. Lena, fine. F***CK Mark. You're a snake, just like her. I'm telling everyone what you did. You'll regret this. I'm changing the locks. I was at my new bank, opening my new account. This was a legal threat. I had to respond, but not emotionally. I didn't call. I just texted her back, for the first time in 4 days. Me, you're on the lease, but so am I. You can't legally change the locks. All my things will be moved out by the 1st. I've already spoken to the landlord to have my name removed. Goodbye, Lena. I sent it. And then, finally, I blocked her number. 6 months. That's how long it takes to build a new life. I got the promotion. I moved into my own modern apartment downtown. I was hitting the gym. I was myself. And I was with Sarah. It was slow. It was mature. It was built on mutual respect and a shared understanding that drama was a waste of energy. The final encounter was at our mutual friends, Chloe and Dave's, wedding. Sarah and I walked in. I was in a new, perfectly tailored suit. Sarah was in an elegant dark green dress, laughing at something I'd just said. We were a power couple. I got drinks at the open bar, and there she was. Lena. She looked frantic. She was alone. I'd heard through the grapevine her new guy had unceremoniously dumped her after she became too clingy. The karma was swift and absolute. She cornered me when Sarah went to say hi to the bride. Mark, she said. Her voice was tight. I see you're still with her. I gave her a polite, professional nod. Hey, Lena. It's a beautiful wedding. Look, Mark, she said, stepping closer, dropping the pretense. I get it. You were angry. You wanted to hurt me. And you did. She gestured at Sarah. You won. Okay. But it's been 6 months. Don't you think this joke has gone on long enough? I was genuinely confused. What joke? This? Her. You proved your point. But that guy I was seeing? A mistake. I've been doing so much therapy, Mark. I've grown. I miss us. I miss my best friend. She still thought my entire new life was a performance for her benefit. I looked at her, and I felt nothing. Lena, I'm not with Sarah to hurt you, I said, my voice calm. I'm with Sarah because she's smart and kind, and she doesn't play games. Her face crumbled. But 4 years, Mark. We had 4 years. You don't just throw that away. I love you. I let her, I love you, hang in the air between us. No, you don't, I said, not unkindly, just factually. You loved that I loved you. You loved the stability. You loved having a backup plan. Across the room, Sarah caught my eye. She smiled and waved me over to the dance floor. My real life was waiting. I turned back to Lena. You wanted us to see other people, I said, giving her a small, polite smile. I just finally did. I turned, left her at the bar, and walked onto the dance floor. I took Sarah's hand, pulled her close, and I never looked back. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.